Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Ugandan human rights defender and journalist Agatha Atuhaire, who was detained in Communicado in Tanzania earlier this week while attempting to attend opposition leader Tundu Lissu's treason trial, has been found at the Tanzania-Uganda border in a weakened state. According to rights group Agora Discourse, Tanzanian police dropped Atuhaire at the border, where she has since reunited with her family. Atuhaire had been arrested alongside Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi. Mwangi, who was also abandoned at the Kenya-Tanzania border in Kwale County, had raised concerns over her safety. Activist Hussein Khalid claimed the two were tortured by Tanzanian police.
We demand that the people who subjected them to this torture are immediately held accountable, including those directing these crimes, which has proven to be the directive of Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Tuseme hatutakubali udhalimu kukita mizizi katika maeneo ya Afrika Mashariki. Na kwa Afrika wote pale walipo, huu ni wakati wa sisi kusimama imara na kusema hatutatumika tena.
The world has become a village when it comes to human rights. Human rights are universal. Universality of human rights.
Naivasha Member of Parliament Jane Kihara has today claimed that her life is in danger after her security detail was allegedly withdrawn, accusing President William Ruto of targeting allies of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Speaking at a press conference, Kihara said she now feels vulnerable without protection, warning that the president will be held responsible should anything happen to her. The Member of Parliament urged President Ruto to honor his campaign promise not to use state security to punish political opponents and called for the immediate reinstatement of her bodyguard.
If you're going to use security to frustrate the friends of Gachagua, it is all in vain. I don't think you'll go very far. But again, I need security because it's a right. And should anything happen to me, Dr. Ruto, our president, you are to blame. We said many times, including that Gachagua, you saying that you'll never use security forces for political reason. This is exactly what you're doing. I feel so vulnerable now. I feel so naked. And you know, our work is traveling and includes even moving around at night. So, Mr. President, please give me back my security officer or my bodyguard.
President William Ruto has said that the government is streamlining the provision of universal health coverage by engaging stakeholders on the key issues about the Social Health Authority, including more registration of members and payment to hospitals. Ruto was speaking in State House, Nairobi, when he met faith-based hospital officials for a briefing on SHA services. Ruto also met the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, an association of evangelicals of Africa, affirming the church's pivotal role in resolving conflicts across the region. Dolly Murigi tells us more.
Been pursuing as a country for a very long time.
The government is working towards implementing universal health coverage in the country by engaging various stakeholders on key issues related on Social Health Authority. Speaking when he met with faith-based hospital officials at State House, Nairobi, President Ruto emphasized the importance of increasing registration of members and ensuring timely payment to hospitals.
The Constitution demands of government that we must provide the highest standard of quality of health to citizens. So it is both a constitutional imperative and it's a political assignment for me, and it's a calling for you. So we are all aligned in some way.
The government's move to establish the Social Health Authority is aimed at enhancing healthcare services and making them more accessible to Kenyans, which is a crucial step towards achieving universal health coverage.
As AIC, we are doing very well, and particularly Kapsawar, Litein, Kijabe, and the Cure hospitals. Yesterday, the doctors and the staff of Kijabe were very happy that, in actual fact, they got their salary 4 days before the end of the month.
I did make a commitment to the people of Kenya that I want to expand the horizons of health to get every Kenyan on board. It was a big undertaking, but my team and I were determined that it was time this happened, because it's been a dream we have been pursuing as a country for a very long time. And health is so critical and so important that it must not be a privilege for the people who can afford.
President Ruto also met with the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya Association, affirming the church's role in resolving regional conflicts.
He's from Kenya.
The church has been instrumental in promoting peace and stability in Kenya, and President Ruto's acknowledgement of their efforts highlight the importance of collaboration between the government and faith-based organizations.
Of the association with it.
The church in Kenya, encompassing various denominations such as the Catholic Church, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, and the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, EAK, has historically been a pivotal force in peace building and conflict resolution efforts across the nation. Their involvement extends beyond spiritual guidance to active participation in civic education, human rights advocacy, and humanitarian aid.
Undergoing the manual that we give them, DHA gives them 100 devices.
Dolly Murigi for Hope TV.
All of us will be committed to support the government of Kenya to achieve this.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki met with popular secular and gospel artists as part of efforts to solidify his political influence in the Mount Kenya region. The meeting, held amidst his nationwide empowerment campaign, is seen as a strategic move to engage the youth and creative sector ahead of the 2027 elections. This comes amidst growing concern that entertainers are amplifying public dissatisfaction, particularly among the youth. The second in command has also reaffirmed that the Kenya Kwanza administration will not be distracted by petty political sideshows.
Lazima hii safari tusafiri pamoja. Iko mambo mengi ya waimbaji, wanamuziki na hii creative industry. Nimesikia vile umesema. We've not given it the weight it deserves. kuna reforms tunahitajika tufanye. Nimesikia mambo ya collection of royalties, kuwe na digitized way, na hii mambo yenu ya pesa yenu hii ya watu ya simu, ni kama wanachukua pesa yenu kwa njia za mkato, na hiyo mambo ingine yote mmesema. Some of you tuweke kwa some boards. Hiyo 5 umeomba, nitapeana those 5 positions kwa boards.
Tumefanya mahesabu ya pesa, and I can tell you this industry is a multi-billion industry. Hii ya wasanii na comedian and the rest, hapa kuna pesa. I can shock you. Kenya is the 3rd country in Africa wale watu wana consume muziki. Wameanza Nigeria, wamekuja South Africa, Kenya namba 3, Tanzania namba 4. But I will shock you, Kenya has the poorest artists.
Mimi nawaomba msikubali watu wetu wapotoshwe na kuwekewa uchochezi na sumu na mambo ya bure ambayo isaidii. Sisi kama viongozi, hata kama kuna mashida, sisi tunapaswa kuleta suluhisho na kutafuta suluhisho. Sana sana sisi ambao tumechaguliwa, sisi ambao tuko kwa serikali, tuko na uwezo wa kusuluhisha kama haya mambo mnaniambia ya industry. It is my business to go out of my way, to use my influence, the position I have to resolve those issues. Sio kukulialia, nasema nasikiza ground, nisikiza Sir James analia na mimi nalia. Sasa na Sir James alikuwa ananilia ndio nisaidia hao wasanii mfuko yao ikuwe afadhali kidogo. So brothers and sisters, I want to assure you of my total support.
Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has dismissed opposition claims of economic failure, asserting that President William Ruto has stabilized the economy. Speaking during a relief food distribution in Balambala, Garissa, Ruku highlighted falling prices of basic commodities, reduced inflation and increased earnings for tea and coffee farmers. Flanked by Garissa woman representative Siyad and area members of parliament, Ruku urged Kenyans to ignore divisive rhetoric. Siyad accused the opposition of incitement and warned against baseless claims of unrest in 2027, saying leaders across the country are listening to their constituents.
Kwa sasa Rais wa Jamhuri amedhibiti economy yetu ya Kenya. Inflation imeenda chini from 9.6% to 3.8%. Mafuta ambayo ilikuwa huko bei ya 200 na kitu, saa hii iko chini. Unga ambayo ilikuwa 200 na kitu, saa hii ni 110. Bei ya kahawa, wale ambao wanalima kahawa huko kona ya Mount Kenya na kona ya Rift Valley, walikuwa nauza kahawa shilingi 20 kilo. Saa hii ni shilingi 150. Kwa hivyo maneno ya economy yetu ya Kenya kupitia Mheshimiwa Rais amedhibiti economy ya Kenya. Jameni, tumpongeze, tumushikilie na tuombee rais wetu akuwe sawa sawa. Si ndio hiyo?
Kila mtu ako na ground yake. Na ground yetu hapa Garissa County, ground yetu ya North Eastern, ground yetu ya pastoralists wote Kenya wanasema wamesikiliza ground, na ground imesema tunachagua William Samoei Ruto.
Sisi kama watu wa North Eastern, haswa watu wa Garissa, serikali ya Rais Ruto imetuchunga sana. Sisi watu wa Garissa imetuchunga sana. Na iko namna moja tu tunaweza peana shukrani. Hiyo namna ni kurudisha yeye kwa hiyo kiti na kujenga yeye kwa kiti yake ya urais. Watu wa Balambala, wangapi wananiunga mkono, na kwa ishara ya mkono tunasema tutajenga rais wetu Ruto kwa mara ya pili. Naomba wangapi wanani support? Wangapi wanani support?
On that note, let's take a short break on Newswatch tonight. We have more coming up after the break.
it's such a paradox.
Yes.
That we can accumulate a lot of riches, but miss out on what we are looking for. Because I believe money is not the end product.
It's not.
There is something people are looking for in creating wealth.
Yeah.
Person who begged during his life, sitting on a spot, and when he died, they said, let's bury him here. This was his favorite spot. They dug a grave, only to discover there was gold on that favorite spot. The greatest reward that you get in making money is in the process of making that money. Money is just a means. That's why it's called currency.
Yes.
It's a moving target. What we are really focusing on is not just creating wealth, it's what we think wealth can deliver.
Yes.
And some of us are so focused on the destination that we miss the joys of day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Hello there, and big welcome to Sitam Buruburu, a church that will be hosting our 18th anniversary and also dedication of a sanctuary, a 4,000-seater sanctuary. This Sunday, May 25, beginning from 9 to 1 p.m. Sitam Buruburu is located in Eastlands in Buruburu, Phase 5. Karibuni sana. Let's celebrate what the Lord has done for Sitam Buruburu 18th anniversary and also sanctuary dedication this Sunday, May 25, 9 in the morning. Karibuni. God bless you.
Welcome back. Residents of Mavoko in Machakos County are calling on the county government to crack down on companies polluting the Athi River with untreated waste. Mobilized through a local foundation, the community has launched a bamboo tree planting drive along the riverbank aimed to restore the heavily contaminated waterway and pressure industries to act responsibly. The residents say the pollution threatens livelihoods and health, not just in Machakos, but also downstream. They believe community-led action will push companies to take environmental conservation seriously.
From the preliminary results that we have done, bamboo has come out to be one of the best candidates in terms of the issues of conservation of the river and also infiltration of these the heavy metals that you're talking about. So the other species, of preferably the indigenous species, they are also vital because they also help in the stabilization of the river banks. But as we talk of the river, sometimes the water levels also sometimes burst. So the trees cannot withstand that the issues of the bank or when the water levels are a bit high. So bamboo happens to be one of the best in terms of conservation. Even if the river bursts, it will not carry away the bamboo.
Those people who live downstream use this water for domestic purposes, for irrigation, and for watering their livestock. So if it is not cleaned, you find that they will use water which is contaminated. So we want to clean it so that those communities that live downstream can use clean water. Those companies that operate in this area should come on board this program because they are the ones who are responsible for the mess in which this area finds itself. So they should come on board and assist us so that we can continue doing what we are doing. This is a multi-sectoral national effort, and it should incorporate all stakeholders, including the national government, county government, the private sector, public institutions, private institutions, and even individuals.
Government, through the Kerio Valley Development Authority, KVDA, has launched a major tree planting campaign to combat climate change and restore degraded water catchment areas in the semi-arid Kerio Valley region. KVDA Managing Director Sami Naporo says the authority is distributing 1.6 million tree seedlings, including 180,000 fruit trees like avocados, mangoes, and citrus, to schools and communities to boost forest cover and food security. The campaign includes restoration work in Cherangani water towers and has already seen thousands of trees planted in Baringo and Uasin Gishu counties. Residents and officials, including learners and teachers, have welcomed the move, citing environmental, nutrition, and economic benefits.
Kwa hii nini village yetu tumepanda avocado, tumepanda maembe, machungwa. Kwa vile tumepanda machungwa ama maembe imetusaidia sana. Imetusaidia kama maembe sasa. Imetusaidia mambo ya shule. Ikiiva tunapeleka kwa shule, tunauza alafu watoto wanapata fees. Hata avocado pia imetusaidia kama wakati tunachuna tunapeleka kwa market, tunauza alafu tunapata fees ya watoto, tunapata machungwa yenye watoto wanakula, watoto naye wanapata afya kwa nyumbani.
Tuna Zambasa, we are distributing about 180,000 fruit seedlings katika eneo hili. Na jumla, nisungumzie jumla kwamba tuko na miche 1,106,000, 1.6 million. Kwamba hiyo 1,000,000 ni miti ya miche ambayo tunapeana katika mashule kwa ajili ya kurealize ile lengo ya serikali ya His Excellency William Samoei Ruto ya 15 billion tree seedlings, growing of tree seedlings. Na pia tunapeana hiyo 600,000 ambayo ni maembe pamoja na citrus na avocados. Tunapeana kwa communities ile ambayo na zile sikio za eneo hili, ambaye hizo maeneo ni kwamba zile nyanda za juu, the highlands, tunapeana avocado, na mahali kama hapa ambaye ni lowlands tunapeana grafted mango seedlings kwa ajili ya mambo ya mapato ya wananchi pamoja na lishe bora katika eneo hili.
So what I would urge the people today who are receiving the seedlings, the community and indeed the schools, is that it's not just about planting the tree, it's about nurturing it to maturity so that we earn whatever it has to give, or rather we gain whatever it has to give. Any tree is very important. A single tree is very important, and when there are many, it is a multiple benefit, especially for the mangoes, for the avocados and any other fruit seedlings. We know that they also come along with food security.
The Green Park underpass at the intersection of Uhuru Highway and Haile Selassie Avenue is 88% complete, promising smoother pedestrian movement and motor transport into Nairobi's CBD. Spearheaded by the Kenya National Highways Authority and China Road and Bridge Corporation, the 2 billion shillings project will link key city landmarks like Uhuru Park and the Nairobi railway station through a secure underground pedestrian corridor. The underpass features modern amenities including retail outlets, lighting and CCTV surveillance, drawing inspiration from global urban centers such as London and Hong Kong. Officials say the project will ease congestion, reduce pedestrian vehicle conflict, and transform commuting into a safer, more organized experience. Completion is expected soon. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has underscored Kenya's call for urgent global action to protect our oceans, end plastic pollution, and reform international environmental governance. Speaking today during the second Nairobi Environmental Diplomacy Symposium held at USIU in Nairobi, Mudavadi emphasized for an immediate action for a sustainable and resilient future. Also in attendance was Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, Dr. Deborah Barasa, who noted that Kenya has made great progress in maritime conservation.
The ocean serves as our planet's lung, regulating the climate, providing food, and boosting economies. However, unsustainable practices, biodiversity loss, acidification, and marine pollution pose a growing threat to them. Accelerating action on SDG 14, life below water, is both morally and collectively required of us as stewards of land and marine ecosystems. Kenya has made tremendous progress in marine conservation by creating marine protected areas, outlawing single-use plastic in protected areas, and promoting blue economy initiatives.
Turning to INC 5.2, I recommend the following. First, we should aim to adopt an international, legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution this August in Geneva. The instrument should cover the full life cycle of plastics, backed by provision of requisite financial resources, technology, and capacity building. Second, the world needs to adopt multifaceted approaches that can power the much-needed just transitioning to green development pathways. And third, we must phase out single-use plastics while promoting use of biodegradables.
We take another short break. We will be back with business news.
Hello there, and big welcome to Sitam Buruburu, a church that will be hosting our 18th anniversary and also dedication of a sanctuary, a 4,000-seater sanctuary. This Sunday, May 25, beginning from 9 to 1 p.m. Sitam Buruburu is located in Eastlands in Buruburu, Phase 5. Karibuni sana. Let's celebrate what the Lord has done for Sitam Buruburu 18th anniversary and also sanctuary dedication this Sunday, May 25, 9 in the morning. Karibuni. God bless you.
Thousands of peasant farmers in Embu County are optimistic about improved crop yields after receiving detailed soil analysis results from OCP Africa in partnership with the county government. The results handed over on Friday at Ugweri Market will help farmers apply fertilizers based on their specific soil needs, boosting productivity and soil health. County Agriculture CECM John Nyaga said the findings will enhance food security and improve fertilizer distribution through the government subsidy program.
Ningetaka kushukuru hii shirika la OCP kwa sababu ya kufanyia hawa wakulima wetu soil sampling ama kuwapimia mchanga bure, na wameweza kupima samples ama wamepimia wakulima 1,080 katika Embu yote mzima, na hii sio mwisho. Wametuahidi ya kwamba wataendelea kupima hii mchanga kwa wakulima wengine vile tu masiku inasonga. Number 2, nishukuru kwa sababu OCP wameweza kutoa maps ama map ya kuonyesha vile mchanga iko katika hii kaunti yetu ya Embu, zile tunaita soil maps, na hizo maps zinaonyesha ni area gani ya Embu haina madini fulani. So kulingana na ile area hiyo picha imetoka, tutaweza kuambia hawa wakulima ile mbolea mzuri kutumika kwa hiyo area. Kulingana na ile matokeo OCP wameweza kutoa kwa wakulima wa hapa. Sasa tutawaletea mbolea ile ambayo inafaa kwa area hii. Na tumejadiliana na wakulima wa hapa na tumekubaliana ile mbolea tutawaletea kama ni ya kupanda ama ya top dressing, hiyo ndio watatumia kwa sababu wako na matokeo na wamekubali hiyo matokeo ni ya ukweli.
Now, on today's conundrum, we'll take a look at the crackdown on activists. A dangerous trend has emerged in East Africa, where dissent is increasingly being met with repression, and those who speak truth to power are branded enemies of the state. The recent detention and alleged torture of Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi and Ugandan journalist and lawyer Agatha Atuhaire by Tanzanian authorities is a stark illustration of the disturbing shift. Neither was charged, yet both were reportedly subjected to torture, an alarming sign of the region's rapidly shrinking space for civic engagement and human rights advocacy. This is more than just isolated incidents. It is part of a broader pattern across East Africa. Uganda continues its heavy-handed clampdown on opposition leaders. Tanzania has steadily tightened restrictions on media and civil society. Even Kenya, often seen as a beacon of relative democratic openness, is grappling with increased intolerance towards free expression. Governments across the region, strained by internal instability and economic pressure, are choosing to silence dissent rather than pursue reform. Such actions are in direct contradiction to the ideals of the East African Community EAC, which was established to promote integration, cooperation, and shared values, including good governance and human rights. When member states turn their coercive machinery against citizens for exercising basic freedoms, they not only betray those principles, they weaken the entire regional partnership. Beyond the internal impact, these crackdowns are eroding East Africa's credibility on the global stage. Development partners, investors, and human rights observers are watching closely and asking whether this region can still be trusted to uphold the rule of law. The repression of activists like Mwangi and Atuhaire tears at the very fabric of these societies. Suppressing those who demand justice does not resolve tension, it deepens them. The result is a fearful silence, not stability. If East African leaders truly value peace and progress, they must begin by listening, not only to loyal supporters, but to the voices of critics and reformers. Dissent, after all, is the heartbeat of democracy. But herein lies the tragic irony. Many of these so-called servant leaders, drunk on power and desperate for longevity, are incapable of sober decisions. They mistake opposition for insubordination and protest for provocation. The pursuit of power eclipses public service. The oppression of human rights activists is indicative of how far our servant leaders seeking re-election are willing to go to silence their opponents. Yet, for a few shillings and false promises, many will still vote them back into power to their own detriment. This makes the sacrifices made by such activists in vain, and it becomes a vicious cycle of oppression, not just to activists, but the general population. And that is today's conundrum. Well, it's a wrap on Newswatch tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night and a blessed weekend.